Good, good evening, everyone. We'll be starting in about 4 minutes, 4 minutes and 54 seconds. So, if you can, please go ahead and share this live streaming to your friends and to your family that would be interested in knowing the new Pathway Home Childcare Provider Pilot Program and the Home Support Worker Pilot Program to bring caregivers to Canada and be a permanent resident, please go ahead and share this live streaming, and we'll be starting in about 4 minutes. Hello, everyone. Again, it's we'll be starting in about 2 minutes. Please do share our live stream to your friends, to your families. Again, 2 minutes. All right, everyone. So, welcome to this live streaming on home childcare provider and home support worker pilot program. And I believe all of our viewers are in the Philippines. So, I myself is a Filipino, so I will go ahead and do this live stream in a Taglish so that I can explain it better. So, if there's any viewers out there that is not able to understand Tagalog, please just comment and I'll go ahead and start delivering this one in purely in English. Okay, so my name is Israel Roman and I am a licensed Canadian immigration consultant and at the same time a practicing RN as well here in British Columbia, Canada. And we have an office located there in Philippines, which is in Lipa City, Batangas. So, home child care provider pilot and home support worker pilot. So, as of June 18, 2019, so that was just last year, caregivers who come here are now able to apply for permanent residency or apply permanent residency at the same time they applied for their work permit. So in this pilot program or in this new pathway as well, the person applying would need to meet the eligibility requirements, which we will be talking about later on. And at the same time, kailangan merong job offer. And with regards to the job offer, it has to be only in these two occupations. One is a home childcare provider. And so ito yung mga nanny, yung mga caregiver for children. So hindi po pwede dito yung mga foster parents. So kailangan yung job offer na ibinibigay sa inyo is to look after their children. And the other job offer na kailangan matanggap nyo is as a home support worker or caregiver for elderly care para sa mga matatanda, para sa mga parents, and experience as a housekeeper, hindi po pwede siya. So, kailangan yung job offer is para talaga mag-alaga ng matanda, hindi para maging housekeeper. So, again, yung job offer na kailangang matanggap nyo is either a nanny para sa mga bata or a child or a caregiver para sa mga matatanda. So when you get an open permit to come here to Canada under this new pathway, yung work permit na matatanggap nyo is occupation restricted, but it is not employer restricted. Meaning to say, you can apply your work permit would show that you are supposed to be working as a caregiver, as a nanny or a caregiver for an elderly, pero hindi it won't show who your employer is or kung kanino ka dapat magtatrabaho. So this is different from before June 19 because before yung mga caregivers na may work permit, nabigyan ng work permit dati, their work permit is naka-tied in sa trabaho at the same time sa employer. So, hindi sila po pwedeng mag-change ng employer because their open permit, I mean their work permit, it indicates kung sino yung employer nila. So for this one, pag may open permit kayo with as a caregiver, you'll have You'll only have the restriction, the occupation restriction, but you won't have the employer. So when you come, so when you're here and you need to change employer, you can easily change employer with no problem. You don't need to apply again for another permit. You don't need a labor market impact assessment or the LMIA. So this is good for the employers and lets you get to work your experience towards your permanent residency. So after working for 2 years, then you will become a permanent resident status. So if you're applying for a new if a new work permit as a caregiver, so yung immigration they no longer process any new application if they are from outside of Canada. You'll be working outside of Quebec or your employer applied for LMIA on or after June 18, 2019. So ang sinasabi lang dito is so there's no longer work permit as a caregiver. Yung work permit ngayon talaga ng caregiver is that open work permit plus permanent residency application. So you cannot right now, if you're, if I'm talking to everyone in the Philippines right now. So if you're going to apply for a work permit as a caregiver, hindi siya uubra. Kailangan siya yung sa bagong pathway na siya, which is yung open work permit plus permanent residency. So this is you can see this as a downside probably of the new pathway because before before June 18, you can apply for for a work permit as a caregiver and wala pa yung permanent residency at that time. So work permit lang ng ina-applyan. For now, from June 18 onwards, as a caregiver, you need to apply for both as a open work permit and at the same time permanent residency. So you need to meet both requirements. So requirements para sa work permit and requirements para sa permanent residency. So ano yung mga requirements? So one is to have a genuine or valid job offer. So aside from job offer being a full-time, which means 30 hours of paid work, kailangan either as a nanny or as a caregiver for elderly pa rin. So there's a comment on caregiver lang po ba available? No, this presentation is, yes, it's only for caregivers, but we also have the study permit program and at the same time the express entry. But for this presentation, this one is only for the caregiver. But you can, what is this, Romeo? You can send us you can comment your email address and contact number, and then we will email you with regards to the other programs that we have or we offer. And then, of course, are you able to do the job? So with this one, immigration officer would look at your recent caregiver course, training, or equivalent. Right? So training could be nursing training. Equivalent could be your experience as an RN as well, or as a caregiver. And when it comes to experience, hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na as a domestic helper, kailangan may pakita doon is a nag-alaga ng bata or a nanny or a nag-alaga ng matanda. And the experience would be at least for a year. Next one is to meet the language level. So For the language level, kailangan CLB 5, which is in IELTS. That would be your reading 4.0, listening 5.0, writing 5.0, and speaking 5.0. So it's not that high. So I believe you guys won't have any problems with getting this score, and then meet the education requirement. So this is primarily for your permanent residency great requirement, and as well as the language level. That is also for your permanent residency, because before, again, before June 18, for just the work permit, ang kailangan lang nila is the genuine valid job offer, and then are you able to do the job. So this one, because you're applying for two applications, one would be your open work permit as a caregiver. The other one is your permanent residency. You also need now your language level and your education requirement. So for the education requirement, this is a bit tricky in some way. Ang kailangan lang ng Canada is post-secondary education, which is at least 1 year. So that would be first year college kung titingnan natin. But the thing is, the challenge right now is in the Philippines, if you graduate only up to grade 10 and then you took a 2 year degree or associate degree, yung first year college mo, magiging grade 11 siya. Yung second year college mo, magiging grade 12. So, kulang ka pa rin ng 1 year. So, chances are, if you are grade 10, kailangan um, ang college mo is at least 3 years. Not unless you finish grade 12, then and then you have a 2 year associate degree, then that's good. If you have any questions, just go ahead and put it in the comments, and I'll try to read them and answer them as we go along. And of course, eligibility would be another eligibility is admissible to Canada. So this one would be, of course, no criminal offense and history of misrepresentation. Misrepresentation is previously nag-apply for a visa and kung ano-anong documents ang sinubmit na which are all not accurate or fake, or you misrepresented yourself. You didn't say everything about you in your application. That is misrepresentation. So, what happens if you have a spouse and you apply for this new pathway as a caregiver on open work permit and permanent residency? So, your spouse will also get a open work permit. So, the difference between your spouse's open work permit and yours is yung sa kanya, walang restrictions sa occupation and walang restrictions sa employer. So totally the usual open work permit. So your spouse can work anywhere in anywhere that he's qualified. So, and if you have a dependent child, your dependent child then will come in as a study permit. So yeah, and then study here, of course. So magkano ba yung wage dito ngayon sa Canada as a nanny or a caregiver? So as a home support worker or a caregiver para sa matanda, the median wage ngayon for Canada or yung average is $16.50. And the average now for a nanny dito sa Canada is $14.11. And So wage sample computation. So let's say i-gitna natin. So yung because the lowest that the home support worker right now or yung caregiver is 1250, yung nanny is 1132. Lagay natin sa gitna which is $12 an hour. So $12 an hour times 40 hours per week. So that's full-time work and that's the usual. You get 480 per week, Canadian dollars. 480 per week times 4 weeks in a month, then you'll get 1920 or 1920 per month. And so 1920 per month times 12 months per year, that would give you 23,040 per year. So if we convert that to peso right now, so just conversion would be, I'm just saying 35, but I think it's higher. So a dollar would be 35 pesos, so that would give you 806,000 per year working as either working as a nanny because for a home support worker caregiver or yung caregiver para sa matanda, that would be more than that one because the low wage right now is at 12.50, so you won't be getting $12, you'll be getting at least 12.50. And just reading on the comments right now, so nursing graduate po ako and currently working here in Japan. So that's good as a caregiver for 2 years at special nursing home. So that's good. That would be good for the experience. The only thing that I need to know on that one then is, do you have a college degree, right? So yung, and then paano po yung regarding sa Canadian employers? So with regards to the Canadian employer, our company has a way of trying to get you a Canadian employer. We try to liaise here. So kami yung tumatayo na parang messenger nyo dito or yung representative nyo dito sa Canada. So we are we are close to the Canadian employer and we try to get you your employer as a bonus for our in our company. But yeah, but we won't be talking about and we'll be talking about that one more in our next live stream. So so another question is, good evening, sir. Did you look for employers for us or mainly visa assistance? So both. So the employers we would be helping you as well for sure. As I've said, like yeah, we have ways of trying to find you employers, but yeah, yeah. So we bring your profile closer here to the Canadian employers kung sino man yung mga naghahanap dito. And then yeah, so visa fees right now. So you have the application processing fee of 550. You have the work permit application 155, the open work permit holder of 100, and then the biometrics of 85. So biometrics, that's good for 10 years. So if you already had one on your previous application, that's still within 10 years. You don't need to pay for that one. So extra would be your dependent child. So if you're coming with your dependent child, you have 150 and spouse is another 550. So yeah, so I think I did mention earlier. So when you apply for your open work permit and permanent residency and you have a spouse and dependent child, kasama na sila kaagad pagpunta mo dito. So that's the good thing about this program is that hindi ka na mahihiwalay sa family mo. So you'll be coming here together with your family. So that's the good thing about this new program. And at the same time, you already know that you have the light at the end of the tunnel is really bright because you are essentially a permanent resident. You just need to complete that 2 years of work experience as a caregiver. right? So after mo makompleto yung 2 years, then you'll get your official status as a permanent resident. RN po in UAE, Saudi, Philippines, and am I allowed to work as a PSW without studying? If the answer is yes, how much would it cost? So as a PSW, hindi po. Uh, I mean, like you're allowed to PS. It depends on what province. But as a PSW, private support worker or public support worker, it depends on the province because like here in British Columbia, to work as a healthcare aide, that's a healthcare aide here, you need to have an employer, and that employer needs to need to apply for LMIA or Labor Market Impact Assessment. LMIA is simply an application to the government saying, "Hey, government, I'm trying to hire caregivers or healthcare aides, but there's no one here in Canada right now. There's no permanent residents. There's no Canadian citizen applying for my posting. Can I get a foreign worker?" So now and then the government would say, okay, fine, you go ahead, you can hire a foreign worker. Now, as a internationally educated caregiver, though, you need to register first to the uh, BC Care Aid Registry, and requirements for that one is you have to take your English exam, and there is an exam, and then you can only take the exam here, and then after that one you need to take some courses as well because they consider internationally educated caregivers still lacking some courses. So shorter version, it is difficult. Mahirap po kayong makapunta dito as a PSW. That's why mostly what they do is they come here as a caregiver. So there's a question, of course, are you legit or is this a scam? So there are like and on our Facebook page, on our post, any any good news that we post, that I'll always get questions around, are you legit or is this a scam? Of course, that's a very good question, but I want everyone to know that is it parang if I was a scam or I'm not legit, would I even tell you guys, right? Hey, sorry, I'm not legit, but please come and believe me, right? Or avail my services, but I'm not legit and I'm a scam, right? I don't think anyone would be honest enough to say that one, right? So everyone that is legit and not legit would present themselves as a not a scam and a legit entity. So my request for you guys is to do your own research. Do not ask the agency or anyone that's giving you services that would be giving you services to come here to Canada and ask those questions because you will not get an honest answer if you're looking for an answer that they're not legit, right? They'll never say they're not legit. So do your own research. So as a licensed Canadian immigration consultant here in Canada, of course, we have to be licensed. We have to be licensed with our governing body. And I'll show you later on how to search for that one. So same thing with you guys. If you are working right now with a immigration consultant, you can do this one. And our company, Roman and Associates Immigration Services Limited, can be also seen in our Canada's business registry. And I'll show you that one as well. Yes. So, question from Joyce: can you help us find an employer, or can you suggest where we can find a job as a caregiver, like a website or page? So yeah, so again, unfortunately, this is not this presentation is only information on how you can get here to Canada as a caregiver, but don't worry, next week we will have our live stream as well with regards to caregivers pathway to Canada with the processing promo as well, and which also involves or includes how to find a an employer. So, and yes, we will be helping you find an employer. Okay, so I'm just going to go out of the screen and just to show you guys yung sa if I'm a legit or not. So I'll do the research with you guys. So hang tight. Okay, so this is the first one. So this is the site that would show you that you can search if the immigration consultant is legit or not. So this is our governing body. So if you have any concerns with regards to a immigration consultant, you can go here and file your complaint. And so you go to public register to search, and my last name is Roman, first name is Israel, and then you can just hit search, and then you'll see there name is Roman Israel, my status active, and my that's my this is my consultant identification number, and contact information would be. So I'm here in Nanaimo, province BC, country in Canada, and the company name is that's registered is Roman and Associates Immigration Services Limited. So let's copy that one, and now let's go to the business registry. So find businesses within Canada. So we are again British Columbia, and search for that business. And yes, so there you'll find our business, Roman and Associates Immigration Services Limited. So yeah, so that's one. Those are the two ways of you guys doing your research. So you go to our registry, our governing body for those immigration consultant to search if they are legit, if they're staying, if what they're saying is who they're saying they are, then yes, and then their company, right? So just be mindful if someone is providing any immigration advice to you, they need they need to be registered with our governing body. No one can give advice, only immigration consultant, whether they are for free or not, they're not supposed to be doing that one, right? So even if they're not here in Canada, they're not they're not licensed to do that one. So So yeah, and then our other company that also helps with providing work is our Home is Best Caregiver Services Limited. So yeah, so this is also located here, of course, in Nanaimo, BC. Okay,